my Area 51 line. You're on the air. Hello.
Welcome to the Blondes and Booze Paranormal Podcast, where what you've known as reality will be shattered by the truth. Krista and Brandy will lift the veil from your eyes, revealing what has either been hidden or denied you for eons.
Hey, happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy freaking Friday.
Freaking Friday. For some people, it's a good day. People like me, yeah, it's just another work day.
Just another one. Huh? I gotcha. I worked today. However, I worked from home. So we had a meeting today, and they allow like 4 hours for a meeting. So,
nice.
Yeah. So, and it was a Zoom meeting. So it was an easy day today for me. It was almost free money, just saying.
Oh, well, geez. I like free money.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So anyway, we have a conference coming up, and we are going to talk about that briefly. I'm going to bring that little flyer thing up. There you go, Brandy. It's all yours.
All right. Of course, I'm sure that almost everybody has heard about that out there. But if you're new and you're listening, make sure you hit subscribe and hit the like button and hit that notification bell so you can turn into Blinds and Booze whenever we're on. I had to put that plug in there. Anyway, Crossing Realms Conference is going to be September 19th and 20th at the Eagleton Civic Center in Richmond, Missouri. We have speakers lined up. We have Ghost Hunt, which is already sold out. We have a meet and greet. We have, my gosh, a movie premiere. We have just all kinds of stuff. We have Marilyn Bass is going to be doing a gallery reading. Mm-hmm. We have, other psychic mediums that are going to be in attendance. We just have so much going on, y'all. Just so much. I keep saying this, that Chris and I thought, we're just going to have like 6 speakers. And
it really started out with 6. It
really did. And it just has now exploded. And I do believe this is probably going to be one of the biggest conferences of the year and the most affordable. I got to add that. So if you're looking for tickets or you want to be a vendor, we have lots of vendor spots still available because we have a big place to put you. Go to Eventbrite, look under Crossing Realms Conference, and all your information is going to be there.
Yep. And our friend, Mr. Greg Ogles, I'm going to go ahead and bring him up. Hey, Greg.
Oh.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's a beautiful day.
It is. It sure is. And you know what? Speaking of our conference, you were our first guest that we asked to speak.
Oh, well.
You were.
You were. Yeah. So you were one of the original 6, I can say.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I feel honored. Thank you. I actually can't wait for the call.
Oh my God. Right. Well, Mickey's been a member for 7 months, guys. Mickey's been a member for 7 months.
Wow.
And we have a new member, Kevin. Welcome, Kevin, to Blondes and Booze, the Booze Club. Just saying.
Welcome to the booze.
Welcome to the booze. That is with an S, people. With an S.
Right.
Oh, it's not the Z?
No.
It is not the Z.
Not the Z or the B.
Boo.
That either, but you know.
Yeah. Neither word. So, Greg.
Oh, here comes Denise. Denise, member 4 months. Look at there.
Look at
welcome.
Denise.
And thanks for staying, Denise. We appreciate you.
Yep, absolutely. See, Kimber knows us, or Boobs, depending on who hears what. She is totally right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right. Sometimes I might feel like a boob,
Exactly.
Look at there. T-Bone shows up. Member for 8 months. Gotta love this
T-Bone.
stuff.
Yep, T-Bone's the best. He really is. They're
in the chat full force tonight. Thank goodness we love y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So, Greg, how is Alabama?
It is beautiful today. We had frost this morning.
Yeah.
We did too.
Yeah.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Today for
Not to
lunch,
stop
we
you
had-
again.
Yeah.
Not to stop you again.
Thank you,
But Josh Castle showed up. Yeah. Member for 9 months. Look at there. Ding, ding, ding. Sorry. It's members night.
Oh, that's
Become a
fine.
member.
Yay.
Come on, member.
Hey, Joshua.
Okay, sorry,
Yeah,
Greg.
become a member.
Joshua.
All right. You were talking about
Okay, sorry.
Alabama having some
Mhm.
frost this morning.
Oh, yeah. We had some frost this morning. I looked outside and said, ooh, it's cold, and I didn't go out. So I enjoyed the frost from the inside, looking through a window, and went back to bed. Got a lot of good sleep. And by noon, it was, I don't know, in the upper 60s. So
Wow, lucky
torch
you.
weather.
We had nasty winds here.
It was a little breezy. Yeah, it was a little breezy here.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was. But it wasn't too bad though.
Right.
It wasn't like over the weekend where we had tornadoes and
Yeah, we had that too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We just heard today that the kids are going to be out of school yet another week because of the tornadoes. They can't get everything together. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I'm like, and it makes me
together.
wonder how long these kids are going to be going to school, like into June probably.
Mhm.
right.
Yeah, do they have to make up all the days that they've missed?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the governor has he put into effect the emergency funds and all of that kind of stuff. So that may
Mhm.
help out the educational system. I don't know, but I think the kids are going to be mad.
Oh well,
Well,
I'm sure they will.
thankfully, all of the kids are fine. So
Mhm.
Yes.
That's the main
we'll
thing.
go back to. So
Yes.
You would think that when they start building these new schools, they would automatically put in tornado shelters in them.
you would think.
Yeah, you would think. I mean, while they're building, I mean,
Mhm.
it's negligible money compared to to the build of the school, and I think that would save so many more lives.
Mhm.
Just go ahead and put in a tornado shelter there, right there at the school, instead of having to send them all home.
Right. I agree. Absolutely agree. So let's talk some weird stuff.
Weird stuff.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Greg is a good friend of Brandy and I. We met you a couple years ago now. We were all speaking at the Alabama Bigfoot conference.
Right.
Yep. And we all just
Right.
kind of hit it off and ended up sharing some alcoholic beverages that night. And
Ooh, me?
Yeah.
Some adult sippy cups.
No,
adult sippy
no,
cups.
I don't do
Yes.
that.
Yes, adult
Oh.
sippy cups. That's what we call it.
So and here we are.
Mhm.
We've hung out with Greg quite a few times since then, and
Mhm.
your films are phenomenal. And honestly, we're privileged to be a part of the Land Between the Lakes one.
Yeah, The Land Between the Lakes is a special film. I had such a good time filming it, and it really has such an important encounter. That whole weekend at the LBL was extremely important. I think
It was.
we filmed everything. We filmed Orbs.
We did.
When we were at the house, I didn't know it, but we got EVPs on what I was filming, on what I was using.
Very cool.
Yes, so you guys as recorders wasn't the only one to catch an EVP. Unbeknownst to me, I had caught 2 that night, so that was phenomenal.
Awesome.
It's the encounter, is just you have to see it. It's just words. There's not enough words for it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing was too, Greg didn't mention the main thing that he captured. Yes, we got orbs. Yes, we got ghost stuff. But if you have not seen the film, it is Land Between the Lake Cryptic Expeditions. And I highly, highly recommend it because you actually captured Bigfoot.
I did. And it all happened right when we got to our filming location. I mean, we were still getting out filming gear, and you heard some growls at the very beginning of it, and that was interesting, and just kind of ignored it. And eventually got so close it rattled all of our insides, and I was like, wow, you can't ignore it. Camera guy just went crazy. We gotta get out, and I had to, that was beginning of a very dangerous situation, because if he would have took off running, I don't know where he would have run to, because it was in the middle of the woods. I mean, there's nowhere to run to. But if he would have, it could have ended up being a bad situation. I think it really could have been a really bad situation. So,
So Richard Geek asked, where can somebody find that film? Is it still on your Patreon?
It is relicfilmsmedia.com. Just go there, relicfilmsmedia.com, and it'll take you straight to it.
Yeah.
Well, Anna Kaywood from Jonestead Farms, who was there with all the filming and all of the good stuff that we got to see, she's in chat. So
It's good to see you.
She can back up that craziness 100%.
Absolutely.
Hello, Anna's daughter's mother.
Anna's great. She's such a great person.
She is.
Really
Love her to death.
Yep.
Her and Keith, great people.
Very much so. So your first film, let's touch briefly on that for those who haven't seen it. It's called Legend of Downey Booger, and it is phenomenal as well.
It is.
Thank you. That film just really chronicled our journey exploring the legend of Bigfoot. I didn't know anything about Bigfoot. I didn't know, not really, other than just what you see on TV, and all of that stuff was not true. None of it was true. I guess, all of what I saw wasn't true. I had the same conception as everybody else, that it's, some kind of wood ape or something like that, and but I did keep an open mind about it. I didn't consult anybody. I didn't want anybody to taint my opinion on whatever evidence that I was going to catch. And I started seeing a lot of weird things. I started seeing those orbs, and I was like, holy crap, what are these things? And I just kept seeing them, and eventually we got to where it took a long time to film the Downey Booger. Number one, because we didn't know what we were doing, but number two, we wasn't catching what I wanted to catch, because literally our first day out, we found footprints and handprints and just all sorts of physical evidence, and being engineered, I was like, man, this puzzle is going to be easy to solve. I said, what's the deal,
Yeah.
So I didn't know how beginner's luck had struck then. That was I haven't found a trackway like that yet.
Yeah.
It was a one-time thing. That's all you did.
It really well. Actually, we found two trackways that day, but further from the same dude. But I just really didn't know how rare that evidence was. So. Years down the road, where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to end this, and I think we've got some pretty good evidence already. And I said, let's do this. Let's rent us a real high-end camera that doesn't project any light, and let's film with some of these orbs that we keep seeing, because we saw them all the time. And lo and behold, when we're filming one of the orbs, we accidentally catch something that was in between us and this orb, and it's crawling on the ground. And I'm just going to go ahead and call it. I'm pretty sure it's a Bigfoot that's doing the spider crawl. And we didn't see it while we were there, except for Janice. She did see it as it was running away. But I will say that in retrospect, it was a little bit freaky, knowing that there was something that close to us and we didn't see it, and it was huge. It's gargantuan. Now, this is one thing that I have theorized a little bit about that. A lot of times where we had Bigfoot activity, we had orb activity, and it was like, hey, there's got to be some sort of connection there somewhere. I didn't know exactly what it was, but I do know that there had to be some sort of connection.
Right.
When we're filming this orb, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we're filming an orb, and we catch a Bigfoot crawling in between us, all in the same frame. Now, I don't know anybody who's ever done that.
Right.
Anybody, ever. But as the camera is trying to lock on to the Bigfoot, it's trying to focus on it, and all of a sudden, that orb in the background just starts pulsating and just reacting, just going super nuts in the background, and in layman's terms, it gets the camera's attention, and it focuses more on that orb, since it was in autofocus, right? The camera was in autofocus at the time, so it focuses on that orb, and then the creature that's in the foreground kind of, it does crawl off screen, but it kind of gets out of focus a little bit.
Sure.
So I do think that that they're highly connected in that either I think they can turn into orbs, is what I actually think. That they have the ability to collapse down into an orb. And I think what I was seeing in the background was actually another Bigfoot that was in orb form. And when the orb in the background knew that the Bigfoot in the foreground was in trouble because he was in an oh crap moment, right?
Yeah.
That it started flickering and trying to get your attention. The distraction technique, that's super what they do. They're great at distractions.
Yeah.
So anyway, I now believe that they can transform themselves into an orb. And
Well, and when you say that, I keep going back to, you said you saw it do a spider crawl.
yes,
And having an up close and personal experience with this, you wouldn't think that they would be able to do that. You would think that their sheer size would inhibit them from doing this type of spider crawl. You really do. And that makes me think there's a little bit more to what you're saying, exactly that it may be a little bit more spiritual than what we're thinking.
Right.
I think so. And to take it even a little bit further than that, when we were at the LBL, and Kathy can vouch for this, I saw a portal.
I remember I was standing by you.
Yeah. So I saw a portal there. Okay. And after the portal collapsed, just a few minutes later, there was an orb that came up from that portal. Is that coincidence? I don't think so. I think that they were wholly connected. So I don't know where that portal led. It could have been on the other side of the world for all I know. It could have been on the freaking sun. Who knows? It led somewhere. Wherever it was daylight.
Yeah.
Just put it that way.
Yeah. So if you go back and watch our earlier shows from 3 years ago or so, Brandy and I were 100% flesh and blood. We said that on our shows, like, Bigfoot, you can kill them. You can, like they're flesh and blood, 100%.
Well, I never said that you couldn't kill them.
Well, we did.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't say you couldn't kill them, but like we just 100% thought they were some unknown ape out there. And from going to the LBL and the one night that I can think of, there was like 10 of us. Brandy actually saw eyeshine. And then that whole evening, we were seeing orbs all around us, surrounding us.
All night long.
So my point being that encounter that night changed our way of thinking. Like we don't, like we couldn't explain that. We could not explain that. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah. As I've all this time, I've been trying to put the pieces together, and traveling along my logical line, I think and I'm traveling backwards here from Bigfoot to Orb, and then I see the orbs coming out of the portals, right? And there's the people that I know that went into a portal over at the meadow. Both of those people are dead now, and I don't think that's a coincidence. They're unalive. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all good. I said it already. So
Yeah. Well, anyway, they both contracted cancer right after that. So what I think is that they have the ability to transform themselves into energy from our dimension to wherever they are.
yeah,
That portal thing may be bad news for flesh somehow. So, and once you're in energy, it's, you can't do much to it. Right. So I think that's how you have to traverse those portals.
yeah.
Well, the area that you're talking about these two people that had went through the portal, I mean, they're not the only two that had contracted something, cancerous, that sort of thing. There's other members of that group, if I'm not wrong, but that are having issues just investigating the area itself.
That's right. There are, and a lot of those people are good friends of mine. And I'm not going to name names because
but and they're young, and they're young. That's what I've got to say. And they're young. So I mean,
right.
So if you take in consideration the one full team, okay, 2 members have already passed, others have illnesses. And that's what I mean. It's just like, wow, this is kind of crazy how that particular area and what it presents itself as in portals and things like that. And they just disappear.
Yeah. And I see in comments, I'll mention JoJo, she put radiation question mark.
Yeah.
They have identified gamma bursts that they've detected there. So I do think that there's portals there, and the gamma bursts are they byproducts of these portals opening up and closing? Possibly.
Right. Yeah. I guess, we're not made to go through those.
I don't think any flesh is. I think that's why they have the big feet's got the ability to transform themselves into an orb, into energy, and then they can traverse.
So that makes sense there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So which brings us to your latest film that you have coming out. So
right. Yeah.
Tell us about it.
The latest film, it is called The Vanished, and it is going to center on missing people in our parks abroad. But I mean, we do, since there's so many people that's been missing, you have to center into a focus area. And we're going to focus on the national forest there in Tennessee. And the Dennis Martin case and Mike Heron case, more specifically.
Yeah.
And, we used some interesting tactics to come up with some really good theories, particularly on one. And I think people are going to be a little bit astonished at how accurate or how closely related these new instruments are. Now, I'm not going to give away too much into it because it's,
that's the story.
Yeah.
You don't want to give that away. You don't want to.
I don't want to give that away. But
do you have the trailer handy where we could play that? If not, I can see if I can find it and we can.
It's more of a teaser than a trailer. And I do
see it.
I do have it. Let's do this.
Yeah, I'm just. I'm really excited to see this one too. It's kind of like each one that you make is putting another piece in this puzzle. It's like you're finding out more and you're finding out more and you're finding out more, even though the direction of the documentary may change. But it's just kind of like these pieces are kind of falling together. So this is really exciting.
It really is. I did decide to do a little bit of a different take this time, but it is it still follows some of the same paths that I've had before. One thing that I will address in this film is I saw another Bigfoot. I saw one plain as day.
Really?
Yes, it crawled out in front of us while we were in the truck going to our investigation location. And it happened to cross the path in front of us and left 17.5-inch tracks behind it.
Wow.
So it was a big
That's a big one, because the one that we encountered had 14-inch.
Yeah,
you must be a magnet.
I don't know what's happening, but I actually in 2024 I had I had 2 visuals and 1 thermal sighting.
Wow. So we're going to have to change your name from Dogman Eye Candy, because that's what his nickname is, everybody. Dogman Eye Candy, not Mr. Moist. Dogman Eye Candy, that was his first nickname, to Bigfoot Eye Candy, maybe.
Well, maybe so. I don't know. They seem to pop up around me pretty good bit. I don't know why, but I've had pretty good luck. But
the Bigfoot Whisperer.
There you go.
Yeah, like I say though, it's not all me. It is a team effort. But while we were driving to our place, I mean, that was just sheer luck. Just I happened to be the exact same place at the exact same time. That's just sheer luck. Well, let me see. Let me see what I can do. Okay. One thing that's going to be an issue here is sound when I play this.
Well, let me see if I can just. Do you have it on? You got it on your Facebook, because I seen it under somebody's profile. It was yours or Adam's?
Yeah, it's on my Facebook page.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna creep you. Hold on. Let me find Greg Ogles on Facebook.
Jeepers creepers.
Creepers.
Where'd you get those peepers?
Okay, hold on. I'll have to share. Let me find it. Man, you post all the time, dude. Okay.
I do not.
Hold on.
I'm a small time poster.
I gotta make it bigger here.
That's what she
said. Yeah, because she can just share her screen and.
What I'm gonna do.
Yeah, because every time I do this, it creates an audio issue, and audio is all about this one.
Absolutely. Okay, so
and I don't know, Greg. All you do is make documentaries. How could that be?
Right?
What's happening?
Right. Okay, so let me go to it here. Facebook, share. Oh, I guess I got to go to it and play it. Okay, so here we go, guys. Can you see that?
No.
Can you see my Facebook?
No.
Okay. No.
No.
Share your windows.
Do who?
Share your windows.
Oh, wrong one there. Okay, how's that?
There it is.
But I got to make it bigger, right? Well, so people can see it.
It's not what you meant. It's what you said. We all know.
It's one of those.
Greg's humor.
Yes, Mr. Moist.
Mr. 13-year-old.
And Mr. Moist. Yes. So anybody who's coming to the conference, I please bring your moist meter. You'll be able to find Greg quicker. Okay, just letting you know.
and how we got that name, just let everybody know really quick. Randomly, out of the blue, I get a Facebook Messenger from Greg, and the word was moist. That was all he said. That was it, and
that's all he said to all of us. That was it.
That's it.
He just did a masked message.
Yeah,
moist.
He does that. So, okay, so let me share my screen. Let me play this. All right, here we go. Can you see it? That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can see the whole thing.
I mean, I know it was quick and
a teaser?
Just a teaser.
Just a teaser.
Yeah, it's just a teaser.
That didn't give me nothing, Greg. That gave me nothing.
It gave you
I'll have to wait for the trailer. I'll have to wait for the trailer.
You have to wait for the trailer.
I know.
You have to wait for the whole
Right.
film.
Yeah, a trailer probably won't be available until July or August, something like that.
So when do you plan on releasing that one?
When I get through editing it.
Okay, and that would be
Whenever he chooses.
Yeah, actually, I learned a lot from The Land Between the Lakes. We actually released The Land Between the Lakes a little too early.
Mhm.
There was some bugs about some things that that I didn't anticipate,
Mhm.
and still working on some of those. Like the DVD my first DVD manufacturer was not up to snuff, and having to wait in line now with another DVD manufacturer. And see, I want all that stuff done before I release the next film. So
Gotcha.
it's definitely going to be at the earliest December or January of next year, at the earliest.
Yeah.
And
not what you did.
Could be next spring.
One. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it could be as late as next spring, because I want everything to roll smoothly, when this one comes out. And this one will just be a different type of film. We're not going after we're not literally going after Bigfoots and stuff, in the strictest of sense,
Right.
But we do follow some of the same patterns, So it'll be exciting and informative too,
Awesome. So
but the thing is I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead, Brandy.
I was just gonna say, and I love the pattern you follow. Mm-hmm. If it happens, it happens. Mm-hmm. And if nothing happens, well, nothing happens.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah, what you see is what you get, I'm not going to say that nothing happened, because they did. But we didn't get like the encounter, that nobody's had an encounter like that, like on video. So I'm not displeased about the amount of evidence or whatever that we caught in this film. It's just a different type of film. It's a little bit different than just say Expedition Bigfoot or something like that. Where they're just going out for Bigfoot or whatever.
Right.
There's a different story that's involved here. So
gotcha. So I know other people who think that, like the Vanishing, the Missing 411, is people who might have actually, had encounters with these different creatures. Mm-hmm. Maybe they, were packing, and that's what got them to be missing. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Exploring and delving into all of the reasons why people go missing, particularly in the Smoky Mountain area. Yeah. For instance, right there in the Townsend area, there's 10,000 caves. 10,000. That's a lot.
A lot.
I mean, you can easily just go disappearing into a cave and, nobody ever see you again. Sure. So, that's just one of the many reasons. But, there's been rumors of feral people there. Mm-hmm. There's definitely been reports of Bigfoot in that area. I mean, the local culture really embraces Bigfoot there.
Yes.
Yes. They really do. There's you just get lost, and there's about 14 million bears there. Maybe 15 million. I'm not sure. There's way too many bears there, but that's one of the things that can come out and get you. Mm-hmm. And then there's just natural causes that you happen to go off the trail a little bit, you get too tired and you die of exposure. That can easily happen. So, that's just a plethora of reasons why, people go into these woods and they're never seen again.
So there was a guy down in Brandy's area, and she's in southern Missouri. And Brandy, you want to talk about that guy? Because like his weapon and everything was found.
Yeah. It was a hunter, and he had gotten separated from his son, and he was out there hunting. The sun was going down. The son went in thinking his dad was coming. The dad never showed up. They said that he died of hypothermia. Okay, great. But it was only 50 degrees out. They said that he may have fell in a river out there and got cold, hypothermia. Okay, that's good too. But they found him missing part of his clothing, which would be his hunter's vest. He left his firearm. He didn't have any of those things with him at all. Now,
So
it wasn't something where he'd had a stroke or he had a heart attack and he stumbled away or whatever. It was none of that. It was hypothermia.
Well, and here's the thing too. What hunter do you know that goes out in the woods? Say he did get a deer, okay, and he has to track it. Are you going to put your gun down? Because I've never heard of a hunter that'll put their gun down and go track.
No, you never do that.
No. So there is no way that a hunter is just going to put their gun down and walk away. I'm sorry.
They're not going to put it down anyway with the price of these things nowadays. Nobody's going to do that. No, it's expensive. They're not going to just leave it there. No way. So I mean, it is kind of crazy that this had happened. I don't know if he had to take off running or maybe took off his vest and his gun or whatever and laid it somewhere and then had to take off running from something. And then that's what made him fall into the river. That's what made him keep running. And that's what, when he got hypothermia. And
maybe that's why he took off his vest. If he's wearing a vest or his hunter's orange.
Yep.
Possibly.
Maybe he didn't want to be seen by something.
Maybe.
Possibly.
So
That's
So, but that one, they just said he got turned around and accidentally fell in a river.
Yeah, like in the LBL, we had several reports of like hunters being unalived in the woods.
Oh yeah.
And on the reports that you get back, it's classified as an unknown animal.
Right.
Like the one in Alabama where Mark Green was telling me this story. The hunter was found not far from his tree stand, not far from his gun, and he had a limb ripped off. One of his arms was ripped off, and his legs bent completely backwards. Not bears don't do that.
No.
He was not eaten at all. There was. So
you would have definitely seen the claw marks or teeth marks or something.
Yeah. So I don't know what got the poor guy. And particularly, I mean, that had to hurt, getting your arm ripped off. I mean,
so I have a quick question, Greg.
Yeah.
So you hear all the time where, different encounters, I believe, are not caused from bears or caused from dogs. That they, I think bears and dogs take the brunt of a lot of unnecessary blame. So how many out there that you've been researching for this film have you come across thinking, okay, they're blaming the dog, but it's not the dog because of this? Is there quite a few that you've run across like that?
There's been several that I've run across like that. Now, I will say that it's in the minority because I think there's a lot of what I've come across. There's been explanations for.
Sure.
But there's been more than zero. I can promise you that. There's, Martin Groves was, he had featured some that in the LBL film, and that really brought me back to the story that Mark was telling me. and and they fit together kind of, like a puzzle.
Right. Right.
So, the unknown animal attacks are, they're not a majority, but they're out there. So,
well, we have one right here in Missouri that I wholeheartedly do not believe it was the dogs that got the brunt end of one, and I believe it was honestly a dog man that got that guy. Just
and like with the one in Alabama that Mark was talking about, he was found not far from his tree stand, but he had his gun, and his gun was not discharged. He had not discharged his weapon. So what I think probably happened was, he wasn't up, but maybe 8 or 10 feet up in his tree stand, and maybe something snuck up behind him and yanked him out.
Yeah,
and, snuck up behind him and got him.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I really think happened. I don't think something waited for him to get to the ground. I think something snuck up behind him and reached up and grabbed him, yanked him out.
Yeah, well, they say these creatures, both Bigfoot, Dogman, all these cryptid type creatures, they say they're super fast. So I could see where something like that could happen.
I'm here to tell you they're super fast. I saw the one that I filmed at the LBL. I mean, it moves so fast that it's unnaturally fast.
Sure.
That's one of the other pieces of evidence that kind of leads me to thinking that these things aren't from here, that they're from somewhere else, because they have abilities that we just don't. It moves silently and fast. I mean, just in the blink of an eye was, 40, 50 yards away. Sure. I mean,
well, and you're right. The first visual I ever got on one, I saw it walking, but I couldn't hear it. And the woods were so dense that I should have heard it.
Yeah,
and didn't.
Yeah, that's the same with the one that we filmed in the Downey Booger. We didn't hear it either. Now, granted, the wind was pretty rough, and there was a storm coming. It hadn't reached us yet, but there was a storm coming. However, as close as it was,
you should have heard it.
Should have heard something.
Yeah, I thought the same thing when I watched that. I'm like, and they didn't hear it? I didn't hear it. I'm like,
right.
So, I mean, I think it's extra easy for these things to come sneaking up on you.
Yeah, I think they're just ninjas. That's my personal opinion. They're ninja.
We'll go with that, Randy. No,
there's not a better explanation. You know what I mean? They're just ninjas.
Right.
Yeah, they're ninjas from outer space.
There you go.
Hey, you got a couple questions. Can we answer a couple of those real quick? And then we'll
no questions, please, he says.
No questions. T-Bone says, most investigators say if you want to see something, stay off the beaten path. Would Greg say the same thing after the vanish? Good question. That's Greg's answer. So stay on the beaten path?
Yes, particularly at night.
Oh, yeah.
Particularly at night. Now, if you want to go off the beaten path during the day, that's fine. But also, it's very easy to get turned around in the woods if you're not very acquainted with them. So, but I like staying on the paths. And when we're filming, we don't get off the path at all.
Right.
You do not get off the path, period.
Nope.
And it's after that first film, we decided no. I mean, I have before, but number one, you carried all this camera crap with you, and you get them damn limbs and stuff hitting you with it. And I'm sorry, those cameras are expensive,
Right.
real expensive.
Everything's expensive.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
But no, stay on. Stay on that path if you're at night. stay
Right.
on that path.
So JD Smooth asked you, are you working with David Politis?
I tell you what, I did ask David to be in this film, The Vanished,
Mhm.
but I did find out that he's doing a similar film, and
Oh.
it would be, it'd be a like a conflict,
Mhm.
for him to be, in that one and in mine and all
Sure.
that. So, we're essentially competing competitors in upcoming films. So,
Yeah.
but no, David's not in this one. But I wish him the best of luck on his film.
Sure. I mean, he
Mhm.
puts out good stuff too. I've watched his
Mhm.
films as well. His films
Yeah,
are good.
just because somebody else is a film competitor, I wish everybody luck in the work.
Absolutely. And
Mhm.
like you said that, like our conference, we seriously we have you coming. We have Small Town Monsters coming.
Mhm.
They put out great films. We have Chris
Mhm.
Garitano coming. He puts out great films. So
Mhm.
it's not about competing with people. And that's the whole point of our conference. It's like, to uplift and support each other
Mhm.
and, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. You'll never see me bashing somebody on
Yep.
their film.
And I can attest to that. Greg is a
No.
good guy.
Yeah,
Yep.
you'll never see me doing that.
Yep. Nope. So little Patty asked you, Greg, have you been out investigating with DA and Robbie?
I have. Actually, they were going to be in the Land Between the Lakes, and when we was out with Robbie, I went back to the LBL 2 weeks after we had filmed the first bit of it, and
Yeah.
while I was there with Robbie, every bit of that footage, I say every bit of it, there was so much footage that was corrupted, I couldn't use any of it.
Wow.
None of it was salvageable.
Yeah.
Although we had good luck while we were there, we saw stuff.
Yeah.
It's just you would get 3 or 4 minutes of the film working fine, and then it goes
Oh, that's a
just all
bummer,
kinds
man.
of crazy stuff, and then it starts working fine again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Well,
like, hey, what's going on? But
We had that kind of happen too.
Yeah.
We had that kind of happen too. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
they were going to be in the LBL, but unfortunately, the film didn't.
Allow it.
I couldn't salvage it.
Yeah, that
So
sucks,
that-
man.
I
you put a
know.
lot of
I mean,
time
it
into
was expensive.
yeah, it's not like you can run home and get a different camera or,
Right.
Well, I mean, it's not that. It's you. When the event is over, you think at the time you think the film is fine.
good.
Mhm.
Right.
It's just when you go back and you start downloading and reviewing all of the footage, and that's when you find out that it's corrupted.
Right.
Right. Well, it was kind of like Krista when she had her audio out there and somebody else had audio, and then the same at the same time they both went out. It
Mhm.
was all corrupted. You couldn't tell what was on.
It was
Mhm.
both of
Yeah.
us, two of us at Land Between the Lakes.
Mhm.
Same time, same place.
Yeah, that happened to me at the Meadow during the Estes method.
Mhm.
The Estes method was actually much longer than that,
Mhm.
and the parts that we missed that's
Mhm.
not in the film was actually the more interesting stuff.
Oh, wow.
But because
Mhm.
both cameras, we were using 2 cameras, both cameras went off at the same time, and Brent had to go and restart the cameras during this Estes method. And as he's starting the cameras, he looks up and he sees this shadow person
Mhm.
right behind me. And he says it's right behind me. It sort of looks like the Grim Reaper, sort of.
Mhm.
Right.
Sort of,
Mhm.
But
Scary.
a shadowy figure, like he says, it tries to like dive into me and then come back out and dive in and come back out. And, that freaks him out for a while. And, he's shaking and stuff and finally gets the cameras going again. But we do catch it in the film. It's in a place where I say, stop, just stop. And
Mhm.
if you look over my right shoulder, you actually see it. You actually see it traverse behind me.
Yep.
Did you put a red circle on it?
No, I don't put red circles.
I don't need a red
And I
circle.
don't do circles. No, I don't do hula hoops. If you can't see it, then oh well.
Yep.
I don't put the circles. No.
Well,
But I'll talk about it. But in the film, I'm not going to make a big deal out of it because I hate circles. And if I have to put a circle around it, I'm not going to do it.
exactly.
However, yeah.
Thank
So
you. Thank you.
yeah. So I mean, but what we went back and looked at this and looked at the other angle, and everybody's accounted for. Nobody's moving.
Mhm.
Right. So the only thing that I can really think of is the cameras actually caught the shadow person that Brent saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not long, but you can actually see it. Not far long for it.
Yeah.
Well, this new group that Chris and I are a part of, and they now have Emmaus Asylum, and I'm sure she's told you about this howl growl thing that we actually heard out there. I think we have found another spot where everything is just kind of compiling in one area.
Mhm.
I mean,
Did you hear
we
that?
know-
Have you heard that, Greg?
I have not heard it yet.
Keep talking, Brandy. I'll find it. We'll play it again.
or send it to him so he can hear it.
Here, real quick. It's no big deal.
I mean, I think this place is just everything is there, and it's odd because the hauntings are phenomenal. It's been hunted 6 times maybe, and this place is humongous.
Mhm.
And then we were outside and caught this in the middle of the night. I guess it was probably 1:00 in the morning when we caught that.
Yep. So I got it here. So it's 24 seconds long, and it's the very last 4 seconds. Let me turn up my volume on my phone. So it's 24 seconds long, and it's the very last 4 seconds. That's me talking for the show. Okay. Take my show off. All right. So it's the last 4 seconds, and so you'll hear Brandy and Terry and myself chit-chatting, but you'll hear it, Greg.
Okay.
Here it is.
So we just go back here and let them do this. There's too many blips, blaps, and go back here. Yeah, let's go. Okay, turn this stuff off. We're definitely gonna have to rent this. Just get it for just a few of us. Did you hear that? Yeah, like a screaming.
I thought it was a scream. Did you hear it?
I did.
So
And we all three heard it. I mean, it was definitely audible to the ear. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It wasn't something, it wasn't an EVP or anything like that. And, I am not 100% sure that it wasn't on the spiritual side, the paranormal side.
Mhm.
But it's odd.
yeah, and I did
Just
send it
because
to
of
you.
where it was located. Now there have been a dogman sighting in the area not far from there. It's just strange.
So I sent it to Joe and Jesse, Hellbent Holler, and Joe came back and said that it's definitely like nothing that was native to Missouri, and it's had a huge set of lungs, and he'd heard that before. I also sent it to Charlie Raymond, and he said the same thing. He's heard that and associated that always with Bigfoot.
I've heard that.
So
before, too.
I don't know. Last time I was there, it was 2 weeks ago, Brandy. I was at the Emmaus Asylum, is what it's called now. And people were getting weird noises outside. So I ended up going outside. There was, and as you know, like Bigfoot mimic different animals in the forest, right? And we heard an owl, but it wasn't your normal hoot owl. I've heard that before. It wasn't your normal hoot owl. It sounded like a person howling, like hooey, like an owl does. So that was pretty interesting. So there's a lot left to be discovered at that place. And in May, we have plans to go back and do some cryptid side of things.
Overnight looking.
Fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. So anyway.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, maybe you need to come.
Yeah. Maybe you do.
Well, let's see what my schedule's like.
Yeah.
April is slammed for me. And at the beginning of May, I've got the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Festival where film's going to be shown, and
We'll be there.
yeah,
We're going to be there.
yeah. 15,000 people go to that, so
That's
it's
going to
gonna
be
be
huge.
yeah, it's a lot of fun too.
Mhm.
I met with the organizer not long ago, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm not going to. Well, I would say this: he's so detailed that I'm going to talk about the food trucks that's going to be there just for a second.
Oh,
His
my
philosophy.
Yeah, food
Okay.
is right up our alley.
Okay, well, barbecue is pretty
Prominent.
popular. Yeah.
Mhm.
So there's going to be 2 barbecue trucks. Okay.
Cool.
Mhm.
And then the rest is each individual type truck. There might be one for tacos, there's one for hamburgers, there's maybe one for pizza, one for Asian food. And you're going down the drain, going down the line.
Wow.
So
I'm going to have to save my money. Okay.
yeah, so there's going to be lots of variety there, and he makes sure that there's not too many people competing with each other for the same type of food.
Right.
Mhm.
You deserve
That
it.
down. Sorry, I was putting the show back
Hello.
on. I was putting the show back on my comment.
Hello.
My volume down.
Hello.
Anyway,
Yeah. Let me speak. Let me answer one of the questions in the
did I miss a
in the
question?
chat. Yeah. I'm just going to answer one for Mickey.
Oh,
She
I got
asked.
that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that one.
I had to start.
I don't really have plans to go to Bluff Creek, but I do have plans to go to Oregon
Mhm.
in 26,
Mm.
and it's a place where there was this really famous portal incident that happened there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go back. We're going to go back and see if we can recapture this.
Very
And my plans is to try and fly a drone through it if we can see it.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I'm not going to do it
Man.
myself. My plan that's my hopes. Try and fly a drone through it.
Awesome. Real quick, we are showing 81 people in chat. If everybody could go and like and subscribe, make sure you are subscribed. Also, not in just chat, but that's watching the show at this moment right now is 230. So if all 230 people that are watching us right now would go and hit that thumbs up, we'd definitely appreciate it.
Hit that thumbs up.
Yeah.
Poke the buttons, people. Poke the buttons. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
them
that's
buttons.
it. Poke them buttons.
Poke the
Push them
buttons.
buttons.
Don't poke the bear. The
Push
buttons.
them buttons.
There you
Mhm.
go. There you go.
Push them buttons.
So that Bigfoot conference, who are some of the speakers and stuff? That's
Oh,
for people?
yes. I mean, Turtle Man. I don't know if you guys remember Turtle Man.
I do, and I'm a
Yeah.
fan.
Turtle Man's a fabulous guy. He's just as sweet as
Have
he
you
can
met
be.
him?
I have met him briefly, but from what I've heard from him, from Brian, from the organizer, he's just one of the most genuine people that you'll ever run across. So he's going to be there. He's probably going to be my personal favorite.
Yeah.
That's going to be
You know
there.
what though, Turtle Man, you know all about our banner that we have everybody sign. So
Mhm.
man, you get to hook up with Turtle Man. You got to bring him over to sign our banner. I'm just saying.
Okay.
We got to have the OG out there. We got to have the OG sign
Mhm.
it. For sure.
You might get a picture with him too. You never can
Well,
tell.
We do that with everybody.
We-
So
and-
on together, he has to have his
And
picture.
Brandy, he's single. Live action.
Stop it. Stop it.
Stop it.
Let's see who else. Maria Mayor is going to be there
Mhm.
off
Mhm.
of Expedition Bigfoot.
Okay.
Mhm.
Harley Owens is going to be there.
Who it will be a guest on our show Thursday. Harley
Mhm.
Owens. He's great.
Well,
Thursday,
okay,
yeah.
good. Yeah, Harley's going to be
You like,
there.
you like
and
Harley?
I like Harley.
Mhm. Me
He's
too.
he's affiliated with Channel 12 Network.
Mhm.
And I'll be proud to say that my film, that The Land Between the Lakes, you'll be able to see it there
Cool.
Wow.
before
Okay.
long. Yeah. I just really have to get off my rear end and send it out to him. Again, there was complications.
Right.
So and the owner of Channel 12 Networks in Texas. So,
Gotcha.
but fabulous guy, love him to death. He got some good stuff on there, so I'll give him a little plug.
Cool.
Let's see who else is going to be there. The Mountain Monsters is going to be there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
going to be there.
They make me laugh,
They
Mhm.
do.
but we still need them to sign our banner. So just say,
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'll be chasing people down. They'll see this blonde-haired woman going, "Hey!"
Let me see. I have a whole speakers list here in just a second.
oh, okay. Let's hear
Let me
all
see.
about it.
That'll be good.
Okay, Turtle Man's going to start it out.
Cool.
Guess who else is going to be there? You guys know.
You.
Well,
You.
other than little old me, Martin Groves.
We love Martin
okay.
Rose.
Yeah,
For him?
Martin Groves is going to be there. Brent Rains. I don't know him.
I don't know him.
I don't-
either.
I don't know Brent.
I don't either.
I don't know him. either.
And Dr. Maria Mayor.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I get to follow her.
Oh.
Oh,
Mhm.
I
You
don't know.
better
if
be on your toes.
I better. I better.
mhm.
Then Adam Davies.
Well,
He's
yeah,
gonna
we
be
met
there.
him a time or two. We know
I
Adam.
mean,
We're kidding. We know Adam pretty well.
Adam's a great guy. He's a great guy.
Yes.
And then Mountain Monsters.
Awesome.
nice.
That's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Slash Squatch is going to be there.
I don't know. Who that
Oh,
is.
Slash Squatch.
I don't know.
You
who
know,
that
like Slash, the guitar player. Do.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's not
So
the real Slash from Guns N'
Slash.
Roses.
yes.
Not the real one. Not Slash from Guns
Slash.
N' Roses. But
Squatch.
Slash
Okay.
Squatch.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So
We'll have
Slash-
Sasquatch playing the guitar out there with some
that's
hair.
right.
Yeah.
He'll come out with a top hat and some hair and a guitar.
Yeah, right. There
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun day. I'm really
Oh, it's going to be so much
forward to
fun.
it.
It's going to
Oh.
be so much fun.
Yeah, it is.
You know, in years past, they told me that they've had to turn away, more people than what was in the event because there was nowhere to park, and they only have room for so many people,
Sure.
and the
Right.
15,000 people are already come. They
That's
come
a
in.
lot of people.
It's a
That's
lot
a
of people.
lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So.
It's going to be awesome.
And if you're lucky enough to be there on May 2nd, which is the Friday night before, that's when we do
Mhm.
all the hobnobbing and stuff like that, and the very important Believers event.
Mhm.
So it's real.
So
you
do
have
we
to
have
buy
to buy tickets for that?
those are invite only.
Oh, gotcha.
That's by invite only, and to buy tickets for it. Yes.
So is
But
Brandy and I going to get an invite?
I don't know. It's up to Brian. I don't have control over that.
That's what I was going to say. We're not that important. We're not going to get the invite.
Probably not.
I'm sorry. I just don't control that.
Hey, you just point them out, and I guarantee you next year we'll have one.
But my film's going to be shown outdoors at the very important Believers event over at
That's awesome.
Peaceful Side Social. Yeah, so there's this big field
Mhm.
right beside the Peaceful Side Social, which is a fabulous little eatery.
Yeah.
And right there, they're going to show my film outdoors. So
That's
let's
fantastic.
pray for no rain.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah, well, we'll be there. We'll be there. We're not going to miss it twice. I mean, between, snowstorms, tornadoes, windstorms,
Mhm.
we deserve a break. So I don't think it's going to rain now.
Yes,
Okay.
but
I'm
it's
just going
not
to
gonna-
say,
I'm going to bring
I
good
just-
weather with me.
Yeah.
okay, you bring it. You bring
I'm
it
bringing
because,
the sunshine.
we had to miss the premiere because of that snowstorm. I swear.
Mhm.
And I'm just like,
you guys weren't the only one that canceled. There was several people coming out from that way that canceled. But had everybody showed up. I mean, the place was still packed.
Right.
Right.
Oh, it was so
Right.
much fun.
Well,
You guys missed it.
The
know.
thing
God,
is
it
that
was
I was okay. Yeah, I was okay to go. It was just coming back was going to get
Mhm.
me.
Mhm.
And Krista wasn't okay the whole entire weekend, but
Mhm.
when I was, when I would be coming back is when I would run into trouble. And that point, I was like, man.
Yeah.
I may do it
Yeah.
again. I may do it again in the future.
Cool.
It
That's
was
all
a
right. We're
lot
gonna
of
be
fun.
able to see it with you again.
It was
and
a
I'm
lot
excited.
of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I would do things a little bit differently. But if you don't, if it's your first time doing something like that, it's hard to plan for everything. You don't know what you don't know about it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Real quick, I want to say something. Mickey G said that she tried to add a day for the conference in Richmond. If you're looking online, it's going to show that you cannot add a day. You have to call them. Actually, not the 800 number. Call and get the actual number to the hotel in town and talk to one of the workers. So just an FYI.
Yes.
Just throwing that out there because
Yes.
their website says, no, you can't. But I called and we're good.
Yeah, you have to call them directly to the actual hotel.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anna said we had to outrun that storm getting home. I can imagine because it hit here, and then it was an awful storm. Brandy and I are hopefully knock on wood. There's nothing major wonky going on, but Thursday we are leaving to go to Texas.
Woohoo!
Yes.
We're going to the Lone Star Paracon.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. In June, I hope to go out to Texas to join Tex in filming out there.
Very cool. That'll work.
Yes, we're in discussions about that. So I'm trying to get my schedule turned around for sure.
Yeah.
Because I want to go.
Yeah. That's been postponed a couple of times. And I'm stoked about going there because I dig rocks,
And it's pretty active.
Me too.
I love the
too.
fossils.
Yep.
That's going to be a big part of it.
Yeah.
The fossils.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I am so excited about it. Tex is going to be bringing me fossils and stuff that he had picked up from the last time. But I'm like, that's not the same. It's not. It is. It's not.
It's not the same. I get excited about finding them. I want to go out and find it, and dig it up and use my chisel and, use the hammer, break it open, see what's there.
So if anybody takes any pictures of Greg and I, we're going to be sitting on our hind ends and we're going to have little picks and shovels and little brooms so we can get our stuff up out of the ground.
I'm stoked about that. I mean, I honestly am.
I am too.
Yeah.
I'd like to find some geodes too in that area. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, what is the conference going to be like in September? What can people expect?
So, if you can make it on Thursday nights, we're just everybody that's, we're just going to go hang out, and that's going to be our party night because Friday night I'm not going to be able to, and neither is Brandy or anybody else on the team, or Saturday night. So, Friday night's going to be kind of our party night. So if anybody is in the area and they want to come hang with us, we are going to go to, remember that restaurant we went to last time, Greg?
Yes.
What are you listening to?
It's elevator music.
Elevator music.
It's all for Andrew.
All for Andrew. What did Andrew say? I got to find Andrew's comments.
I have no idea.
1970s adult elevator music, really? Okay.
Yeah, this is coming from Mr. Greg Ogles, the only one of our chat moderators who will ban you just because he thinks it's funny.
I will.
He will time you out in a heartbeat.
If it gives me a giggle, I'll get you.
Yeah. So just to let you know, if you ever get banned from our channel, please message
Or
Brandy I, and we
timed
can get you
out.
back in, or timed out.
It's just timeouts.
Yeah, you don't ban
I
people.
don't
He
ban
times them
people.
out. But
But
that's
I'll
funny.
sure time out somebody in a heartbeat.
It's too funny. It's too funny.
I had to tell him one show, stop it.
You sure did.
Stop it. Stop it.
Because every time I turned around, he was timing somebody out. I'm like, stop it.
And it was funny.
It was funny.
It was
I mean,
funny.
we had our chat room was pretty full, and you were just timing everybody out. I was like, stop.
That was too funny, though. I do remember that. Right?
Mhm.
And Brandy, she's texting me, Greg's timing everybody out. I'm like, it's hilarious. It's funny. So, anyway, if you do get timed out by Greg Ogles, chances are he did it on purpose. And
Oh, yes.
he did.
He
yeah.
did it on purpose.
I did it on purpose.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
So
He did it 100% on purpose.
Purpose. Yep. Especially Crystal. If I see Crystal in there again, I want to get her.
Well,
That's
Peter
it.
says you're mean, Mr. Moist.
You're mean, Mr. Moist.
Well, I'll try to be more dry.
Right. Just make sure everybody's carrying their moist meters out there. Just letting you know,
Mhm.
moist meters.
Have a moist
Just
meter.
carry them. You'll be able to detect him quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway,
I have
back
to
on
keep
the
my-
conference talk.
Yeah.
Okay, back on the conference. Okay, there we go. No, it's going to be a really good time. Like I said, we have so much going on. We talked about it in the beginning of the show, so I don't kind of want to rehash all of that. But as Chris and I were saying, this started off as just a little itty bitty thing that we just wanted to test the waters, just to see what we could do in the area and everything. And it's just turned into something huge. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, what can you say? Even the big one, like we're going to be going to in May, you're talking about
Mhm.
15,000 people coming around and stuff like that. How
Yes,
many
that's
speakers
awesome.
they've got? 6?
Yeah.
6, 7?
Yeah, you don't need many speakers. But there's going to
We
be
blew up.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Well,
don't
Yeah,
need
we blew up. We don't know what happened.
Little Patty just called you an ass because you timed her out.
That's right. He's jealous. I'll take it and
Watch
run
out.
with it. I'll do it again too.
You're too funny. Yeah. But
We need to give him a wrench that every time he times somebody out, it goes, ha, 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 ha,
Mhm.
across so everybody knows what he's doing.
yeah.
I laugh every time I do it. I always put LOL and that big giggly face on there.
I know.
Right.
I know. But it comes
it's
across
usually-
on our end. It says moderator is timed out so and so, and it should just come across every time you do it. It's just saying ha 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 ha, and
Yeah.
we know.
Oh, yeah.
That's too funny. That's too
Yeah.
funny.
But anyway, what I wanted to say about the conference though is we do have a big vendor space. I mean, a huge vendor
Mhm.
space outside. We're hoping for beautiful weather. It's going to be the end of September with a nice cool breeze. In Richmond, the leaves will be changing. It is just going to be beautiful out there. And
And I'll be there.
right. And as of right now, we don't have a cap on vendors. Just telling you, we don't have a cap. We don't care what you sell, as long as it's
Can I go and sell adult
family appropriate. As long as
books?
it's
I can't
family
sell adult
appropriate.
books. Oh.
No, family appropriate. Now you
Well,
heard me, and I
you know,
said that
if
because
you-
of you.
If you get certain books that can make families eventually.
But we're talking about where there's children already,
Actually,
yeah,
it's
they
going to
don't
be kid things there because I got to tell you, so like our event, like we're doing it to promote the unity and to kind of bring everybody closer together in every genre. We have everybody from ghost people to Bigfoot people to metaphysics. We got the Fae. I mean, like the whole 9 yards. We're talking everything
Right.
at our conference. So
Right.
that was the whole goal. So we were contacted by the local school, the FFA, which is Future Farmers of America. And
Absolutely.
they have a booth there, and they asked about selling food through their FFA and to earn money for scholarships. And I'm like, well, heck yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah.
a no-brainer. So,
Yeah.
when I say kids are going to be there truly is, and so I do.
Yeah,
encourage FFA members too.
Well, Krista and I are bringing the little booze. You know what I mean? We're bringing the little booze.
Yeah.
So, of course, kids.
bringing the trainers. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
We got to let them know what
Hey.
they're in for. These girls are going to take over when Chris and I just give up.
Mhm.
When we're saying we're too old.
We do have to train another generation behind all of us.
We really do.
Yes.
I'm not getting any younger,
Me either.
and I probably have maybe 3 or 4, maybe 3 films left in me. Then, after 6 or 7 films, I'm probably will retire from it and just do it for fun after that.
Right.
Yeah.
And just leave it up to the next generations to find out what I have missed.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll do that. I honestly don't. You know what I think you'll do? You'll just take longer. You'll fine tune everything, and
Actually,
you'll just
it's shorter now. I
do 30-minute documentaries.
I shot this last film in less than 6 months, but if you have just the shooting time, it was like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right.
You just shooting time.
You could do 30-minute documentaries, like bam.
No,
Over.
I don't like doing 30, but you can't tell a story in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I like telling the story.
Yeah.
Well, if you stayed on one story, you could do it. But
Yeah, you could. You would become.
I think you like to encompass the whole picture instead of just focusing in on one thing.
Yeah.
I think you like to do the whole picture, so I don't think you could ever do that.
Yeah, no, and here's why. There's a psychology behind it. If you focus in on just one thing, people have a tendency to get bored. Their attention spans is only going to cover 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, before you have to switch to something else, and that keeps the audience interested. 30-minute shows really don't do very well because the audience will not engage it. Now, you think that's counterintuitive, but people have to have their attention diverted. So that's why I actually like to tell a story within a story in the film, so I can at least go back and forth, if not tell a story within a story with a side story.
Right.
That's true.
Total sense.
So I prefer a story within a story and a side story. That way, you can triangulate things. But going back and forth is the least of what I'll do.
Right.
Well, because I mean, the what you're going after has many facets. You know what I mean? It just there's just so many directions that this thing can go that tie it all together. You just and you have to follow them. You have to.
You do. To do it appropriately, you have to go with the evidence, and you have to follow up on leads. And I have been truly blessed the last 2 years to have a lot of action to happen when I've gone out. I will say that has not been the norm previous to that, because most of the time we would go out and nothing happens.
Yeah.
So that it took years to make the Downey Booger. And the LBL really didn't take that long as far as just straight filming time. But so it's and now that I actually know what I'm doing, it's taking less time to actually make films.
Right.
And I'm editing this one instead of Brent, and I found that I'm really enjoying the editing. I used to edit a long time ago when I did fan films for Star Trek fan films and other stuff. I got my feet wet in editing there, and since doing the Legend of the Downey Booger, Brent had been doing the majority part of the editing, and I've kind of fallen by the wayside on that. And recently, I think that the Land Between the Lakes, what he experienced in there really messed with him some. And he's really he's taking a back seat now. So I'm taking over everything on the editing side now. I actually love it. I really do. I really do love the editing part because I kind of fancy myself as a bit of an artist, and I wasn't blessed with musical skills, although I know good music when I hear it, and I can compose music in my head, but I don't know how to articulate it. Like my son can. My son can articulate it, but I don't know how. So I find myself enjoying the editing process. The little teaser that I put out the other day was I was into it. I put it out in a few hours, edited that in a few hours, and absolutely loved it. So I'm really going. Yeah, I'm really going to enjoy editing The Vanished.
Yeah, I look forward to seriously seeing the full thing.
I'm ready to see the next piece.
Yeah,
what I mean, that next puzzle piece. I'm ready to see it.
Well, was that not enough, Brandy?
No,
that was not. No.
Well,
I have to, and you're right. It's just a tease. It shows you who's in it, kind of where you're at. It gives you that creepy vibe. That But dang it, dang it.
Right.
Well, the purpose of the teasers is, number one, just to let people know that there's a film on the way.
Right.
Number two, you're going to get a feel of, like you said, who's in it, and generally what it's about, and the feel of the film. Now, the feel of this film's a little bit darker, and it might be a little bit slower paced, but it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be a different flavor,
right?
But you'll enjoy this one. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I seriously do look forward to it. I've enjoyed all of your films, so I know this is going to be top notch as well, for sure.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, and I find those two stories that you picked to focus on. I find those stories interesting anyway, and I mean, just any information that you can get on them is cool with me. You know what I mean? It's just. They're just very odd stories, and I'm excited to hear more about it. Actually,
well, with the new instruments that we're bringing in, and I say that figuratively, you'll be amazed at the conclusions that they come to, particularly with one.
Okay. See, because there's theories out there and of what happened to those two. And I know there's another side of the story somewhere. There's got to be there's something, and it's just like I'm just really excited to hear more about it.
Yeah,
because most of what I hear, basically on YouTube and other things and articles it's always the same thing, but it'll be nice to hear a different perspective.
Yeah. I look forward to it too, just because I'm into that kind of stuff too. Well, Brandy really is too, because like the Vanishing could go excuse me, almost on a crime type way, or it could go, to something wonky out in the woods, So and that's what we're both into. So
because we all know that. Yeah, Chris and I fall asleep to the ID channel.
We do. We go to sleep to kill it. We tell everybody that. Every time we share a hotel room.
and it's funny because I stayed at her house. I think it was like a month or so back, and she goes, "Okay, let me turn on the TV, get the killing on, so you can sleep." I'm like, "Thank you."
It's not normal without all the killing, is it?
Nope.
And I don't know why I'm fascinated by it, but I can watch that stuff all day long. It just,
too.
I don't, it's
It's
not that I
about-
want to do it or find out how to do it. I'm just like, why are these people so dumb?
Yeah. There's a lot of
That
stupid
is my whole
criminals.
thing. It's like,
Sure.
do they think they're not going to get caught?
Right.
A lot of them don't.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Yet.
But doing this has really changed me considerably. Before I was raised as like a Southern Baptist, and had the same worldview, right? Okay. Well, when I started doing this, I started seeing things that that I wasn't taught, and that wasn't supposed to exist, and that makes me start to question things, right? So I started questioning one thing, start questioning another, and then all of a sudden, things that I was taught doesn't make sense,
Right.
and that led me into trying to solve another mystery, right? No, at least for me personally, and I have changed so much as far as my worldview. And I'm so glad because I'm so happy with like where I am right now. And, every day is like joy. No matter what the situation is, every day is like joy all the time.
Right.
But there was another question right here that before we get too far away from it, that somebody had asked, Boondock, and he had asked, when I hear a song, do I think of the perfect moment that it would complement in the film? Yeah.
Missed
The
that.
question, the very short answer to that is yes, absolutely. And sometimes it's parts of a song, like like the drums that you hear in the teaser. I had to extrapolate the drums from the rest of the song. So,
Okay.
So, I've got only the drums that's in it, and you don't hear the rest of the song. I was going to put in like some more vocals, and I teetered with it a time or two, and I was like, it sounds better just the drums,
Yeah.
I took out the vocals, and all you hear is the drums. So the answer to that, Boondock, is yes, and it may only be an element of a song. It may only be like the violin part or the vocal part of a song or something that I have to extrapolate out from the rest of the song. So
Right.
actually, yes.
Does your son help you with the music sometimes?
Sometimes, he will if I ask him to, but he's like, I'm a professional dad now. I need to be paid.
Well, I'm trying to be a professional here.
No, he would if I asked him to, and he is a musical genius.
He's a concert pianist, isn't he?
Yes, he is, and he's also a composer, and he composes some fabulous music. So he had already scored two films for Alabama Public Television for two different TV shows. So, and he did that. So one when he was still in high school, and the other one in his first year in college. So,
Wow, that's fantastic.
yeah. So he's got experience on the film side and on the concert side, and just strictly writing side, because he's got a business that he sells music on the side. Now that he's graduated high school, college. He wants to go to law school and be an IP attorney, intellectual property attorney. Which I think is a good move. I told him if he wants to continue going to school, go ahead and do it while he's still young, because it's incredibly difficult to do it when you get older.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
Like, my son, he went to college for a long time. He went to school for a long time, and he changed so much. Literally, he started out going to be a pharmacist, and then he switched midway and decided he wanted to be an attorney. Like, okay, whatever. And then, so that changed, and now he's a plumber. Go figure.
Nothing wrong with being a plumber.
No, somebody's got to do it. He
Yeah,
makes-
well, they make plenty of money.
Right. So
Well,
it's just,
I wouldn't want to do
As long
it.
as you don't have the plumber's butt, it's fine. No
right.
plumber's butt allowed.
Right. Exactly.
Hey, I wouldn't want to do it. One thing that I hate is plumbing. I can't stand plumbing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't
Fortunately,
stand
though, he does new construction.
Mhm.
So
Well, I guess that's a little bit better, but
Yeah.
I mean, every time I try to do, I don't even try it anymore. Something's wrong with the plumbing. I don't know plumbing.
And they get paid really good money.
Yes.
Yes,
I'm
they
sorry,
do.
but they do.
Now,
Gosh.
I will say this: we had a septic line that kind of malfunctioned a little bit,
Mhm.
and all it was at a joint. The ground had caved up from up under the pipe, and the pipe had sunk like this, and had broken the pipe. Well, the plumbers wanted $3,600 to come out there and dig out a little bitty hole and just put
Yeah.
that back together. And I'm like, $3,600. I can do that for $3,600. No, so I did do that.
Yeah.
It's not pleasant work, but
No,
for $3,600, come on.
that's too funny.
You're just kind of like, I'll deal with it. I
Yeah.
will
Well, my
deal
son
with
ended
it.
up. He actually ended up. He's got his teaching degree, so he could actually be a
Mhm.
teacher if he wanted to. But
Yeah,
there's
that's
no
what my
money in
friend
it.
did.
There's no
Yeah.
money in it, so he went on.
No,
to,
there's not.
He's in the union and he's a plumber. So more power to him.
Yeah,
But he's
yeah.
got something to fall back on if ever need be.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with teaching degrees.
Nope.
One of the best things you can do as a teaching degree is to get into human resources.
Yeah.
They make a lot of money in human resources. So
Right.
yeah, that's one of the best things to do. If you
There
don't
it
want to be a
is.
lawyer or something like that. So I mean, as a teacher, you're trained to be a supervisor, right? And you're trained to recognize all the laws and the little detaily things that you're supposed to do.
Right.
I mean, you're tailor made to be in human resources. So
Yeah.
Yes.
mhm.
Yep. There's
So
a
if
lot of
you're-
good stuff there.
Mhm.
Well, I definitely look forward to your films. I mean, like I said, if you guys haven't seen any of Greg's films, I highly recommend them. Where can people find the Downey Booger one? Because I know that one's out on a lot more.
It is. You can go, other than going to relicfilmsmedia.com, you can go to Tubi and just type in Downey Booger and
Mhm.
it'll come up. If you want to buy a physical copy, go to walmart.com.
Mhm.
Same thing, just type in Downey Booger and you can order it.
Yep.
So it's for sale on physical copy from walmart.com, and you can go to Tubi.
Mhm.
And I recommend Tubi for me. I mean, Tubi's the best for me, and it's free for everybody else.
Right.
So-
And here's the thing too, go watch it free on Tubi, go watch The Legend of Downey Booger, and then you will see what kind of films Greg puts out. So it's going to make you want more. So you will be purchasing
Yeah.
Between the Lakes for
Mhm.
sure.
Yes.
Yeah, and I will say The Land Between the Lakes is light years better than the Downey Booger. I mean, just strictly because, number one, we were better storytellers in this one.
Mhm.
Number two, we had better equipment, and number three, we knew what we were doing.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
There you go.
Mhm.
Yep. I want to remind everybody to after this show, it looks like Paranormal Roundtable is on, and our buddy Tex is on there
It's
tonight.
on. Yes. So
So that'll be good. So
Yes.
turn and roll over to Paranormal Roundtable after the show. Anyway, this has been fun, Greg. You're always welcome to promote anything you do or have.
Thank
on
you.
any of our
I really
platforms.
appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And
So-
I hope everybody's had a good time tonight.
Oh yeah, we always have a good time having you on the show for sure.
Oh,
We,
well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Tomorrow night, tune in to Paranormal Paul. He has it's a pre-recorded show, but it's Lady Ann Celine. She's awesome, and so that's gonna be a good one. And then tomorrow night, you can catch Brandy, myself, and I believe Monica will be back on with BMR tomorrow night at 10 o'clock Central.
yeah. Into the bazaar
Into the
with
bazaar.
BMR.
That's it. That's it.
Yes.
So until tomorrow night, everybody, we will see you then, and have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Night. Okay, wait a minute. I'm trying to figure out how to use this, how to end the stream. The text we got
How do I
here.
leave?
Okay, I'm just going to hit this button. Good night, everybody.
Get your crap. Get out.
Good
Get
night.
out of the room. Get out.
Goodbye.
This is the future. Evolution.
The Crossing Realms Conference launches September 19th and 20th and will dock in Richmond, Missouri. This is already being called the event of the year, folks. With an unprecedented list of speakers and special guests, 2 days of cryptids, UFOs, and paranormal presentations, along with a celebrity-filled ghost hunt, meet and greet, gallery reading, vendors, and a film screening. This promises to be both educational and fun. Go to eventbrite.com to secure your tickets and vendor slots before they are all